Any questions? And let me acknowledge Joaquin Martinez, a council member that represents the district of the tragedy and has worked closely with the family. Ana Hernandez, local state rep, Amanda Wally, Marianne Perez, Mayor Pro Tem, Cass Tatum. Any questions of any of us?
Mayor, Chief, you said HPD doesn't have jurisdiction. I've spoken with professors at UT Law Center, South Texas College of Law, who say that's just not true. Is the city attorney giving you different advice? Where are you getting this idea that you don't have jurisdiction to investigate?
Because we don't. And in fact, Sean Tier acknowledged that in our first conversation. But like him, we're being proactive. We're reaching out, gathering information. So I think you're playing semantics.
Yep.
Of course, we have authority to collect information and share what we find. And we've done that, and we're going to continue. So I think, like Sean mentioned, the DA, he doesn't have the authority to take a federal offense to a state grand jury. So what we have to do is be proactive, as the chief has done, ask to meet with the FBI, and urge them to share with us their collection of evidence. They control the scene, the deceased, the van, the witnesses. So yes, they control the investigation, but through our efforts, working with our congressional leaders, we're trying to access that, which would allow us to investigate, which would be a proactive local investigation.
Are you trying to collect any of your own evidence?
Beg your pardon?
Chief, are you trying to collect any of your own evidence?
Forward him the tapes that you've already sent.
Sure. We have communicated in every aspect with the district attorney's office. Anything that we have, we've already shared with the district attorney's office as well as the Bureau of Investigation here in Houston. So I'd ask the community, if you have information, a tidbit of information, a cell phone video that someone has not accessed yet, please contact the FBI Houston or the Houston Police Department at 1-800-CALL-FBI. I encourage the public to be proactive with this so that we, as a police organization for the greatest city in the country, can move forward and help this family heal in this process, right? We don't conduct our business like that in this police department, and I want to make sure that the community knows that where there's support, we were at the vigil, and we'll continue to do that. So as the great Congresswoman said, please respect the family, because the family's already reached out to us that there's a little bit too much in front of their homes. They want to go about their lives and grieve in private, and should they need anything, they have a representative. They've got their council member, Joaquin Martinez, in the area that they can reach out to communicate anything that they need from us. So we're trying our very best in a very difficult.
Yeah, Chief, the question was, are officers going out?
They are not.
They're not trying to get their own
They're not
evidence.
trying to, we have information that we have already.
DA investigators
Oh, the DA
are.
investigators are, and we're collaborating where we can get information with the district attorney's office.
Was there a delayed medical response?
That's a question for the Houston Fire Department. I don't think so. I think it's within the normal range. I don't know who called. I've not listened to the 911 calls yet.
So, Mayor, will that be investigated as part of the local?
Yes, the time frame is being obviously preserved as part of the evidence. I've had access to it. The chief, fire chief, very involved, called me an hour ago about some ICE activity involving a fire station in terms of checking the vital signs of one of their confinees. So we're monitoring this by the minute, by the hour, and we will share everything we know with the public.
And DHS says that this all happened because a local entity gave them a credible tip about the vehicle and the men in the vehicle. Do we know which agency that was, and is that being investigated?
I will yield to our congressman who actually spoke to them.
That is not the story that the ICE director told me when I had my conversation with him. He said that they were acting on a final removal order on one of the passengers that they believe was in the van. Now, that story has been reported. I've not had an opportunity to confirm it. But I'm not hearing it anywhere else except that news report. And Chief, I don't know if you've heard.
I can tell you that we've not heard that information from anyone. I can tell you that no one at the Houston Police Department provided information in any capacity.
But that is certainly something that I will be asking, and I certainly will be following up on a number of other things, especially the timeline that your previous question, because I too am concerned about the timeline, how long it took to transport to Ben Taub, how long it took to transport to the ME's office, because I know they did not positively identify him until yesterday morning. But yet, of course, as I've told you all, that's probably one of the most horrific things, you all. The press and social media were given the name of Mr. Salgado before they told the family anything. Think about what you all would do if you had to learn about your dad being dead when nobody's told you a damn thing. I mean, it's just, I've asked for an apology from the ICE director. He would not agree to that. But he did say that if their review found that they did something in error, that he would apologize to the family in the future. So to me, that's just, the heart of all this is the lack of protocol and human decency when it comes to visiting with the family and keeping the family informed. And I intend to pursue that to the fullest that I can.
Chief, can you answer into the mic with 100% certainty? Can you confirm that HPD had no involvement when it comes to a tip? The question she asked, can you answer?
Sure, I can answer with 100% surety that we did not provide a tip. In fact, that vehicle has not been on any investigative process for us until the day of, because we did our normal operations at the scene, right? So, yeah, 100%. Go.
So Mayor, will that be investigated if one of the precincts or constable's office or,
I can answer that, Mayor.
Go ahead. I'm certain that's part
That'll
of
be
the
part of the investigation. Everything, anytime you access a police database, you leave a footprint. There's no computers.
DHS is saying that they had a credible tip.
That'll be investigated by their Department of Homeland, their OIG department. And because there's someone, whoever did that, there's always a footprint of it. It doesn't just magically appear. It actually has information in databases that are protected by CJIS compliance stuff.
As you mentioned, you don't have any, like.
Yeah, sorry, I'm sorry. Yes, sir. I heard your voice up there.
But, as you mentioned, you don't have any, control over the evidence or any of that kind of stuff. Do you guys have any contingency plans to kind of avoid this in the future where you might be able to, step in? And then secondly, it seems like on Tuesday, it seemed like there was not gonna be a full independent investigation. Sort of, what changed from then to now?
Well, the facts have changed, right? So now we hear, because of the congressman's great work, that the wrong person was in the van, or perhaps it was the wrong van. So those are concerning, and they should be concerning to everybody in the community. Everybody that's a Texan, everybody that's a Houston, everybody that lives in the U.S. Those facts weren't available then. So as we move forward, we will continue to listen to the community to ensure that this is getting the adequate attention, to ensure that the community knows and community trusts that someone is looking at this with every single eye available, in partnership with the Bureau. I'm meeting with SAC Hudson on Tuesday to go over whatever evidence they have. I don't know what evidence that he has. And the word for me is trying. We're going to get behind this, get behind the community, get behind the Salgado community, the Salgado family, to make sure that they know that this office is going to expend every effort to make sure that this is, whatever it is, brought to light. We're communicating with the DA from the very beginning. I actually spoke to the Congresswoman a couple of hours after the event. So this isn't just, the communication always exists because it's important that we get the right information to the community to avoid any misinformation in the community.
Mayor or Chief, what about unrest in the city? I mean, people are starting to feel like ICE has lied, and there are protests going on, and people are speaking out on social media.
So we welcome the protest. We welcome people to come and protest and exercise their First Amendment right. Right? It has been 80 hours, as the mayor said, that this happened. No investigation in the country is going to be completed in 80 hours. Let these processes go forward. We welcome them. We share in their angst and in their pain. We are on the street with them. This is a community engaged police department in every aspect. I don't care if you're in Second Ward or an Acres Home, we are focused on serving and providing police, exceptional police services. So this is something that it's alarming to us. I mean, truly it shocks the conscience, right? No one should be followed in an unmarked car in any capacity with no lights and no sirens. I mean, this is the city of Houston. So I want to thank the mayor for the leadership, because it's been, I think the mayor's, you got about 2 hours of sleep. I've had about 3, right? So this is something that'll go on through the weekend to make sure that we are doing everything that we can as an organization to provide you the right information, the right resources, to make sure that we stand up the DA's office, to make sure whatever they need, that we have the ability to share information with Sean.
Following up on that question, Chief.
What the chief's saying, you can get back to him, what the chief is saying is we're not being restricted by our jurisdiction, okay? It's clear that it was a federal act, a federal investigation. But based on our determination, we've gone outside that jurisdiction. We're not settling to wait for an FBI report. For all we know, could take a year. We want answers. The chief has reached out to the bureau chief. We'll meet Tuesday. He will brief me. I will brief you. The family will be the first to know the credible information. We're in contact with the family. I met with them today. So even though there are legal restrictions, we're being proactive. And we will furnish, when appropriate, the 911 call. You need to hear it. I question the delay. I would hope, but I'm afraid I know the answer, that ICE carries techniques and equipment to stop bleeding. But we also know this is the same agency that didn't have body cameras. I was in the legislature when we passed legislation to require body cameras. There was some resistance. Most police officers will tell you today it's their best friend. It documents their training that they carried out, their transparency. So I'm certain one of the discussions will be in Congress, why not body cameras? And it should not be a fiscal matter. We ought to be able to see in real replay accurate information. That was the instance in other communities, largely gathered by the public. As everyone that's spoken has said, if the public has any documentation of the circumstances, we'd love to see them. Someone had a question, yeah.
I
Yes.
just wanted to follow up on what Chief mentioned, the unrest, right? So we've been at the scene and we've seen all the colors, and some people are saying that they're not trusting authorities, so they're willing to take up arms to defend.
Well, first of all, let me interrupt. I think that's irresponsible talk. The march the other day was peaceful. We protected the community with HPD. You know, there are people on both sides that would like to disrupt our community. There are people that travel the country to disrupt communities. I'm not minimizing the passion of the community. It's real. But to sit here and talk about hypotheticals about unrest is irresponsible. We've experienced tragedies in Houston. We come together, certainly during the civil rights protests, and I could start naming faith-based Reverend Lawson and others. And we're going to use the same resources today. We're all hands on deck, and we're not going to allow this to create disruptions that some would like.
Congresswoman, do you think that they had the wrong van?
really cannot answer that because I don't know enough about this alleged tip. All I know today is that the van has been seized. It's in the custody of the FBI. Remember, I said that this morning. The way ICE operates is they want to control the operation, they want to control the scene, and they want to control the negative. You know, they basically ICE out everybody else. So it's been difficult, even for me, to be able to get information because at this point, even the FBI locally has told me that I have to go through Department of Homeland Security, DC. I will be in DC. I'm still trying to get a phone call with the secretary himself. That's why I started with the ICE director, because he did finally call me back. It's not easy, y'all. Remember, these are not normal times. You have a White House who has his own assigned mandate of this mass deportation program that he seems to be so fixated on. And it's hard to work through a process where he controls the acting attorney general, a former friend of his. The ICE director is a former CEO officer. And CEO, for those of you who don't know, is the corporation that owns a lot of the detention centers. So it's hard. It's not like the old days where I could pick up the phone, call the Justice Department, Civil Rights Division, and someone would be here the next day helping us. So please, you need to, sir, excuse me, I'm not done. We have to face reality. I am doing everything humanly possible to get to the bottom of this, and I will not stop till I get a full independent investigation. Y'all remember me when we went through some of this with the Vanessa Guillen killing in Fort Hood. I didn't stop. I do not plan to stop now. We will get something done. We're Houston. We always come together as a family, and we stay strong, and we're not going to let somebody bully us around.
Mayor, have you been in
Thank
touch
y'all.
with anyone from Minnesota? Has the mayor from Minnesota?
No. I'm focused totally on Houston.
And Mayor,
And
And I have
the
full-
fear of
Mr.
ICE.
Chief, sir, does this incident underscore lack of training for these ICE agents?
I think you could conclude that.
Mayor, when I'm
true.
prepared to take the federal
Okay.
government to court to access evidence.
Thank
as
y'all.
authorities
Let's
in
go to work.
Minnesota
I got to go to work.